Imagine discovering that the life you've built for over 25 years was built on lies. Imagine finding out that the person you trusted most had been living a double life, not just for a moment, but for 18 months. Now, imagine the other woman knew about you, chose to deceive you, and thought she'd never face consequences. This is my story, and while it started with heartbreak, it ended with me reclaiming my power. Let me tell you how I turned my pain into purpose, and why I don't regret a single move I made. I never thought I'd be the woman telling this story. After 25-plus years of marriage, I discovered my husband had been having an affair for 18 months. The other woman lived on the opposite coast, so their relationship was mostly over the phone, but it was consistent, ongoing, and deeply emotional. They only met twice in person, but it was enough to shatter my world. What made it worse? She knew about me. She knew I existed. Yet she chose to participate willingly, following rules to keep their affair hidden. She was married herself, living a separate life from her husband, but still tied to him financially. By the time I found out, their affair had ended 9 months prior, and they'd both moved on, literally. They'd sold their family home and gone their separate ways. When I discovered the truth, I was devastated. But I wasn't just heartbroken, I was furious. I reached out to her weeks later, hoping for some kind of explanation. Instead, she lied to my face about everything. Why even talk to me if you're going to lie? She claimed her family knew about the affair, but something didn't sit right with me. So I waited. 2 months later, I sent letters to her husband and her 20-something daughters, exposing the truth. I even warned her via text that the news was coming, but she insisted they already knew. Spoiler, they didn't. When those letters arrived, her world exploded. Her daughters cut her off, her family found out, and the fallout was immediate. But I wasn't done. 6 months later, I discovered text messages, thanks to iCloud storage, that confirmed their physical infidelity. I pretended to be my husband, texting her from a new number, and listened as she vented about how I'd ruined her life by exposing the affair. Yeah, well, actions have consequences. I sent her another letter, this time threatening to share the explicit screenshots with her daughters if she didn't come clean. I waited 6 weeks, letting the weight of that threat sink in, and then sent the screenshots anyway. Her daughters were horrified. They reached out to my husband, saying they wanted no part of their mother's mess. Meanwhile, she tried to contact him, but I intercepted her emails. She even threatened me with police and restraining orders, but I didn't back down. My husband told her to do whatever she wanted. He was done. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why focus on her and not your husband? Trust me, he wasn't spared. He bore the brunt of my anger, my hurt, and my trauma. But she made a choice, too. She knew I existed, yet she chose to be the other woman. And I believe she deserved to face the consequences of that choice. Fast forward to the latest chapter. I found out her daughter was getting married near me. So, I called her workplace. Yes, I had her work number, and left a message with her coworker. I didn't get my wedding invite, but I'll see you at the wedding. Oh, and tell her to stop sleeping with married men. I made sure to name the exact location and time, so she'd spend the next 2 weeks wondering if I'd show up. Spoiler, I didn't. But the fear? That was my gift to her. It's been 18 months since I found out, the same length as their affair. And while I know my actions might seem extreme to some, they were my way of reclaiming control. My world was decimated, and I was at rock bottom. But through it all, I refused to let her walk away unscathed. For those wondering if I'm staying with my husband, let me be clear, I'm playing the long game. I haven't made any permanent moves yet, because I'm being strategic. I'm waiting for him to get a job so he can move out, and then he'll face the full consequences of his actions. This isn't about letting him off the hook. It's about protecting my children's future and ensuring I come out of this stronger. Division after 25 years isn't simple, but trust me, he'll feel the pain he caused all of us. So, did I get my revenge? Absolutely. And while it won't erase the hurt, it's given me a sense of closure. Sometimes, the best revenge is knowing you stood up for yourself, and that the people who wronged you will never forget it.